In our technology analyst Dan Sodergren. Hello there. And unlawful misappropriation of its intellectual property. Let's bring in our technology analyst Dan Sodergren. Hello there to you, Dan. So I wonder, first off, have you had a look at Threads? What do you think of it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I have done, as many people have. In fact, it's now around about 50 million people that have signed up because we've had it's been almost 48 hours now, and there's been 95 million posts on there. So therefore, people are liking it, people are using it. It is a stripped down version of Twitter, and in reality, its kind of secret sauce, or its kind of key feature is this distribution moment. It's linked into Instagram, and because it's linked into Instagram, 2.3 billion users, you only have to click a couple of buttons and then you're following the same people on Instagram, on Threads that you are on Instagram, should I say. It means that this thing has now gone viral. In fact, it's grown quicker than anything else that's ever existed. So yeah, 50 million users in less than 48 hours.
What's the law on something looking, when you the look of something? Is there a copyright on that, the intellectual property on that? Because, you look at it and it does look very much like Twitter. What is the law on that? Is it more the tech behind it or the representation of the brand, the image?
Well, again, I think it would depend which country you go in. And again, this is the big thing, of course, for all tech. And this is one of the things about AI, isn't it? At the moment, European law is looking at, who borrowed from who and who took the data from where. And this is the biggest point of this whole thing. The actual UX of it, I don't think that's particularly, defensible. Microblogging isn't a brand new idea. It's a bit like, many people have come up with different things like this. Blue Sky is another version of it. There's Mastodon, which is another version. I think Twitter's boss, Elon Musk, has got very, very cross about the fact that this has happened. And it's happened at a time, really, when Twitter is on its knees, mainly through to his own actions. And because of that, of course, he's bringing out the lawyers. Whether he can bring out the lawyers for the whole world, let's wait and see. But it's quite funny that Mark Zuckerberg and him were apparently going to be having a fight inside an octagon ring. I don't know if you saw that on social media. Obviously, it's a bit silly. But of course, now the fight's a legal one.
Yes, I think we've all been watching that, haven't we? And in terms of where it could be limited for accessing, what do we know about that?
Well, the access, of course, you've got to think about it as maybe a slightly different way. This is also a data play by Meta, Facebook, and Mark Zuckerberg, and these other massive corporations, of course. And should they be allowed to own all of this in one big go, whether you like Elon Musk or not? He was different to Mark Zuckerberg. So this is a data play. Data is the new oil. This is why it's quite a clever thing. And of course, data feeds AI. And of course, Facebook and Meta wants to get into AI, just like every other tech company. So the question is do our laws, or are our laws strong enough? They seem to be in Europe. Europe's saying at this moment, we've got to look at this. It might be kind of breaking monopolies and mergers ideas, which of course it might do. Europe's kind of banning it at the moment. But we're not, because of course we're not part of Europe, so we're not protected by that. So it's going to be interesting to see, can Europe actually stop it? Well, you've got to remember, this thing's the fastest growing thing ever. It took ChatGPT 72 days to get to 100 million users. So, we'll see.
Dan, very quickly, running out of time, but just how much does Meta and Twitter or Elon Musk need those users?
It's the most important thing, isn't it? The number of users is the most important thing. As Twitter starts to go down, so it'll lose more advertising. And you've got to remember, if you're not buying a product on the internet, you are the product. So we are the way that this thing is funded. We're the way that people look at the advertising. And therefore, numbers is a key thing in social media. And it looks like this thing's a juggernaut.
OK. Dan Sodergren, thank you very much for that. Absolutely fascinating. I'm Luquessa Burak. Plenty more coming up at the top of the hour.